Once upon a time, in a small wooden hut on the edge of a snowy forest, lived a boy named Ivan. His father had been a woodcutter, but he passed away when Ivan was still very young, leaving his widow to raise their son all on her own. Winter was coming, and their little hut was already cold. There wasn't enough wood to keep the fire going for more than a few days. If they couldn't find more, they would freeze. So every day, Ivan went out into the deep, dark forest to search for branches, twigs, and anything else that might burn. One evening, as he trudged home with his meager collection of firewood, Ivan saw something strange. In the distance, a faint golden glow emanated from behind a nearby tree. He decided to investigate and pushed aside the branches to see what lay beyond. On the ground was a single golden feather, shimmering brighter than any star in the sky. It looked so beautiful. Ivan knew he should leave it where it was, but he thought if he took it home, perhaps he could sell it and buy some warm furs to protect his mother from the biting wind. So he pocketed the feather and hurried back to the hut. But as soon as he stepped inside, a voice boomed through the trees. "Who has taken my feather? Return it or face the Firebird's wrath." Ivan froze. Was the feather magical? Had he just made a terrible mistake? Just then, his mother entered the room carrying a heavy basket. "What are you doing?" she asked. Startled, Ivan quickly hid the feather under his cloak. "Nothing, mother. I found some extra wood and was just admiring it." "HMPH, you and your wild imagination," his mother scolded gently. "Now come help me carry these potatoes inside." After they were done, Ivan went back outside to put the wood by the fire, but he didn't feel like chopping. Instead, he walked aimlessly into the forest. Suddenly, the trees began to shake and the forest floor trembled beneath his feet. Lightning flashed, illuminating giant wings of fire that beat the air like a blacksmith beating his anvil. When the flames subsided, a magnificent bird stood before him. Its plumage consisted of burning embers, and the tips of its wings crackled like a bonfire. The bird's eyes burned with the intensity of molten gold. It opened its beak and let out a mighty roar. "So you have the forest's feather?" it demanded. Ivan felt a sudden rush of bravery. "I only wanted to make my mother happy. You can have it back." But before he could reach into his pocket, the Firebird swooped down and snatched the feather right out of the air. Then it flew closer to Ivan and stared directly into his eyes. For a moment, Ivan thought it would strike him down, but instead, the Firebird tilted its head and asked curiously, "You mortals are strange creatures. Why did you want the feather? What use did you think it would be to you?" Ivan straightened his shoulders and replied, "My village is cold and starving. With your light, I hoped to bring warmth and hope." The Firebird considered this, then spread its wings, causing a gust of wind that nearly knocked Ivan off his feet. "You spoke with honesty. Few mortals dare. Very well. I will give you another chance." The bird dropped the feather into Ivan's hands, which burst into sparks. Then it pointed its beak toward the melting snow. "See what lies beneath." Confused, Ivan knelt and brushed away the frost. Beneath it, he found a garden filled with apple trees, heavy with fruit. Even in the middle of winter, the apples glowed red and looked inviting. Ivan had never seen such beautiful fruit. He gathered some and brought them back to the village. At first, the villagers were skeptical. How could anyone eat a raw apple in the middle of winter? But when they bit into one, the taste was so sweet and delicious it melted in their mouths. Everyone agreed they had never tasted better fruit. Before long, Ivan was known throughout the land for his magical apples, and everyone in the village, especially his mother, was grateful to him. But the next morning, as Ivan opened the door to go gather more apples, he noticed something extraordinary. Perched on the roof of his hut sat the Firebird. Its fiery feathers shimmered in the pale sunlight, and its eyes seemed gentler than before. It cocked its head and said, "Another favor I must ask of you." Confused, Ivan replied, "Of course, anything you desire. Your honesty impressed me, so I am giving you a choice. Stay here with your people and ensure their survival for as long as you live, or return to the forest with me and be my companion." Ivan pondered this. On one hand, he liked the idea of living an exciting life with a magical creature. But on the other hand, he knew his mother and the villagers needed him. He couldn't abandon them. After a moment, Ivan looked at the Firebird and replied, "With all respect to you, great creature, I cannot leave my people. They need me." The Firebird nodded slowly. "Very well. I knew you would choose this. That is why I offered you the chance." It hopped off the roof and landed on the ground. Then it began to sing, its voice echoing through the forest like a trumpet. At first, the song sounded sad and mournful, but then it changed. Notes of flame and ice swirled together in harmony and danced among the trees until the entire forest resonated with music. The melody drifted all the way back to the village, where Ivan's mother and the others heard it. They ran outside to see what was happening, but all they saw was the sun rising over the snow-covered trees. However, they noticed that although it was the dead of winter, the snow had stopped falling and a thick fog had covered the ground. Looking closer, they realized the fog wasn't actually fog. It was thousands of tiny glowing embers, each one dancing and sparkling like a miniature star. As the sun climbed higher and the birds sang their morning songs, the embers faded away. But back on the roof of Ivan's hut, the Firebird continued playing its melody. After a while, it stopped and addressed Ivan, who stood beside his mother with tears in his eyes. "Since you cannot come with me, I shall stay here and protect you." The Firebird flapped its wings, sending sparks flying. Then it began to sing again, this time a new song. It was a song of flame that burned away the frost and warmed everything around it. As the song spread through the forest and into the village, the people huddled together for warmth. No matter how hard the winter storms blew that year, the song kept them cozy in their homes. They could hear the Firebird singing on the roof of Ivan's hut every day, and it reminded them that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any hardship. Meanwhile, Ivan knew that wherever he went, the Firebird would follow, keeping him safe and watching over him. And he realized that sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones we don't take. So that's the story of Ivan and the Firebird. Do you like stories about magic and adventure? Well, if so, be sure to stay tuned, because we have lots more just like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.